This is BRICS Global Television Network's weekly news roundup. We begin with the headlines. The death toll from Ethiopia's landslides this week could reach 500, according to the United Nations. Russian and Chinese jets have carried out a joint patrol over far eastern Russia and the Bering Sea near Alaska. India announces a $24 billion investment in employment and training initiatives. And we take a look at 5 Chinese athletes to watch in the Paris Olympics. Hello, I'm Juliet Newell. We begin in Ethiopia. The United Nations says the death toll from landslides in a remote region of southern Ethiopia has reached 257, with projections suggesting it could rise to 500. Rescue efforts continue in Kencho-Sacha-Godzi, where teams of distraught locals are sifting through mud, often using only their hands and shovels to search for bodies and survivors. This man says that 13 of his family members, including his uncle's 7 children and his brother's infants, have died. We've recovered 12 bodies, but haven't yet found my sister's body. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has warned that up to 15,000 people, including 1,320 young children and 5,293 pregnant women or new mothers, need evacuation due to the ongoing landslide risk. Aid is arriving, including 4 truckloads of supplies from the Ethiopian Red Cross Society. This landslide is the deadliest in Ethiopia's history, following heavy rains in the area about 480 kilometers from Addis Ababa. Most victims were buried while trying to assist after the initial landslide. Russian and Chinese jets have carried out a joint patrol over far eastern Russia and the Bering Sea near Alaska earlier this week. Both countries have clarified the operation was not targeted at any third party. The flights on Wednesday involved nuclear-capable bombers and took place shortly after Moscow accused the United States of sending its own strategic bombers near Russian airspace. According to Russia, the patrol included Tu-95MS strategic missile carriers and Chinese Xi'an H-6 strategic bombers covering airspace over the Kuchki and Bering Seas, as well as the North Pacific Ocean. The North American Aerospace Defense Command confirmed intercepting these aircraft in international airspace near Alaska, stating they posed no threat as they did not enter sovereign airspace. Both Moscow and Beijing asserted that the patrol adhered to international law and was part of their planned military cooperation for 2024, explicitly denying any targeting of third countries or relation to current international tensions. Russia's defense ministry shared images and footage of the mission, demonstrating the capabilities of the Tu-95MS and the Xi'an H-6 planes, both capable of carrying nuclear payloads. India's Supreme Court has temporarily halted a controversial directive from Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand states that mandated eateries display their owners' names on the front doors, a move criticized for potentially segregating businesses by religion. Initiated along a pilgrimage route frequented by Hindu devotees during Shravan, the rule was seen as divisive, particularly affecting Muslim-owned establishments. The court's interim order issued on Monday suspended the requirement to disclose owners' names while insisting on displaying food offerings instead. This decision follows widespread backlash and accusations that the rule aimed to discourage Hindu pilgrims from dining at Muslim-owned places. Uttar Pradesh, the first to enforce this directive, has justified it as preserving religious sanctity among devotees who traditionally abstain from meat during Shravan. Critics, including some within Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, argued it's exacerbated communal tensions and targeted minority Muslims. The court will revisit the issue later this week amidst ongoing scrutiny of BJP-led state governments for alleged discrimination against religious minorities. Coming up, BRICS Plus Business News.
The Art of Africa goes jazz. South Africa has given rise to a number of jazz artists, from trumpeter Hugh Masekela to pianist Abdullah Ibrahim and vocalist Gloria Bosman and Sibongile Khumalo. Their uniquely South African strain of jazz has become an essential thread in the international jazz fabric. The latest torchbearer of that sound is Nduduzo Makhathini, a pianist and composer whose albums have made him a leading voice in African jazz. Not only is he a jazz artist, but Makhathini embodies the roles of teacher and historian.
India has announced a $24 billion investment in employment and training initiatives aiming to tackle economic disparities and appease voters following recent electoral setbacks. During her budget speech earlier this week, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman detailed a 5-year plan comprising 5 schemes to enhance job opportunities and skills training for over 40 million young Indians. The government will offer incentives to companies to boost job creation amidst global economic uncertainties, in contrast to India's robust growth trajectory.
The global economy, while performing better than expected, is still in the grip of policy uncertainties. In this context, India's economic growth continues to be the shining exception and will remain so in the years ahead. I am happy to announce the Prime Minister's package of 5 schemes and initiatives to facilitate employment, skilling, and other opportunities for 4.1 crore youth over a 5-year period, with a central outlay of 2 lakh crore rupees. The fiscal deficit is estimated at 4.9% of the GDP. New airports, medical colleges, and sports infrastructure in Bihar will be constructed. An additional allocation to support capital investments will be provided. The requests of Bihar government for external assistance from multilateral development banks will be expedited. Recognizing the state's need for a capital, we will facilitate special financial support through multilateral development agencies.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, now in a coalition due to electoral challenges, faces criticism over economic issues like job scarcity and food inflation. Despite India's rapid economic expansion, challenges persist in generating sufficient quality jobs, particularly for its sizable youth population. Sitharaman's budget speech also addressed regional concerns with infrastructure projects in Bihar and financial aid for a new state capital in Andhra Pradesh. The government aims to reduce the fiscal deficit to 4.9% of GDP, reflecting fiscal discipline aimed at increasing spending. Saudi low-cost carrier Flynas has reached a preliminary agreement with Airbus to purchase 90 aircraft, including 75 A320neo jets and 15 A330-900 planes. The total catalogue value of the deal is approximately $13 billion, though large orders often come with significant discounts. The Memorandum of Understanding was signed at the Farnborough International Air Show in the UK, where Airbus has secured notable orders from its US competitor Boeing. An MOU indicates a mutual agreement on the purchase terms, with final details and payments to be arranged later. Founded in 2007, Flynas exclusively operates Airbus aircraft, currently utilizing 52 A320s and 4 A330s under lease. The airline has previously ordered 65 A320 and A321 planes. The new A330s will be customised to accommodate 400 passengers, a significant increase from the current 300-seat configuration. Flynas CEO Bandar Al Mohana highlighted that the A330neo will bolster the airline's long-haul capabilities and support Saudi Arabia's pilgrim transport program. Egypt has hiked the petrol price by a staggering 15% as part of a series of reforms required by the International Monetary Fund for a $5 billion loan to support the financially strained government. Now, this price hike is a key component on the reform package, which includes a liberal exchange rate policy, reduced government spending, and increased incentives for private investment. The IMF's review meeting on Monday will assess the April payout package, which would unlock $820 million in funds, following a similar tranche received in late June. Egypt is grappling with its most severe economic crisis, marked by soaring foreign debt, high inflation, and multiple devaluations of the local currency. Inflation reached nearly 40% last year, but fell to 27.5% in June. The country also faces regional instability with conflicts in Gaza and Sudan and disruptions to Suez Canal revenues due to attacks by Iran-backed Houthi rebels. The canal, a vital global trade route, saw a 23.4% drop in revenue in the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Coming up, BRICS Plus Sports News.
Well, here we have it. Time to turn things around. You caught the taxi and watched the money drain out of your account. Now we're going to pay you if you are lucky enough to catch our taxi. Small problem. You've got to know a few things about BRICS. No, not the stuff you build your house with. Welcome to the BRICS on Wheels show.
France winger Moussa Diaby is signed with Saudi Arabian club Al Ittihad, joining fellow French players Karim Benzema and N'Golo Kante under coach Laurent Blanc, the club announced on Wednesday. Diaby, 25 years old, leaves Aston Villa after a single season, having joined from Bayer Leverkusen a year prior. During his stint with Villa, he appeared in 54 matches, scoring 10 goals and providing 9 assists. Al Ittihad confirmed Diaby's arrival on a 5-year contract and has noted that he has joined the team's training camp in Spain. The financial details of the transfer have not been disclosed. Al Ittihad CEO Domingos Oliveira has praised Diaby as a valuable addition to the squad. This announcement follows the recent appointment of Laurent Blanc as head coach, reuniting him with Benzema from his Euro 2012 squad. Al Ittihad's roster also features N'Golo Kante and Brazilian Fabinho. Last year, Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund acquired major stakes in top clubs, significantly boosting spending. The 4 PIF-owned Pro League clubs spent $957 million last summer, second only to the Premier League. To South Africa now, where Springbok rugby centre Andre Esterhuizen's been banned for 4 matches following a red card in a test against Portugal last weekend. That's according to World Rugby. Initially given a yellow card by Scottish referee Holly Davidson for a head-on-head tackle on Jose Lima, the penalty was upgraded to red after review. The ban may be reduced to 3 matches if Esterhuizen, recently transferred from Harlequins to the Sharks, participates in a coaching program aimed at improving tackle techniques and reducing head contact. Esterhuizen will miss Currie Cup matches against the Lions, Pumas and Griquas, and possibly the Cheetahs. He'll also be absent from the South Africa Rugby Championship Tour of Australia, but will return for the home fixture against New Zealand on August the 31st in Johannesburg. And there are more woes for the Springboks as 2019 Rugby World Cup winner Sibusiso Nkosi has tested positive for an anabolic steroid, an official from Bloemfontein-based club Cheetahs has told AFP. I can confirm reports that Sibu underwent a World Rugby test in May and his A sample was positive. The official has asked to stay anonymous as he's not the club's spokesman. The 28-year-old winger who understudied Cheslin Colby at the World Cup in Japan could be banned for 4 years if his B sample is also positive. Nkosi won the first of 16 test caps against England in 2018, and his last appearance was against New Zealand 3 years later. He suffered mental health challenges after moving from the Sharks to the Bulls and disappeared for several weeks in 2022, triggering a police search before being found at the home of a relative. Cheetahs, who gave Nkosi a 1-year contract this year, withdrew the winger from a Currie Cup match against the Bulls in Pretoria last week, citing personal reasons. In Paris Olympics 2024 BRICS Plus news, Daniil Medvedev, Russia's top tennis player, will compete as a neutral athlete at the Paris Olympics due to the ongoing conflict with Ukraine. Despite not being able to display national flags or anthems, Medvedev, 28 years old, is expected to remain a major newsmaker. The world number 5 has a reputation for his fiery temperament and controversial behavior. Recently, he narrowly avoided disqualification at Wimbledon for an outburst at the chair umpire and had notable feuds with Stefanos Tsitsipas and Alexander Zverev. Medvedev, who won his sole major at the 2021 US Open, is focusing on doubles and mixed doubles at the Paris Olympics, where he believes he has a better chance of medaling compared to singles. His unorthodox style and competitive nature marked his career, including a memorable dead fish celebration after his US Open victory. As China aims to secure more gold in Paris compared to the Tokyo Games, the BRICS Plus countries certainly a nation to keep a close eye on this year. Let's take a look at 5 Chinese athletes to watch in the Paris Olympics. Quan Hong Chang, diving. At just 17, Quan is a diving prodigy with 5 world titles and Olympic gold from Tokyo, where she achieved 3 perfect 10s. Her background and dedication to supporting her family add to her inspirational story. Shi Yuki, badminton. After a challenging period, she has returned to form, recently becoming the world number 1. Known as a potential successor to Lin Dan, he aims for Olympic gold in Paris. Zheng Qinwen, tennis. The 21-year-old made headlines with a Grand Slam final appearance at the Australian Open and a top 10 ranking. Zheng, who recently defended her Palermo title, is also a rising star off the court. And Ma Long, table tennis. A legend in table tennis, Ma Long, 35 years old, has won 5 Olympic golds and is a 3-time world champion. This Olympics, you'll focus on the team event, with Wang Chuqin leading the singles charge. And in other Olympics news, Russia's attempt to reclaim the gold medal in team figure skating for the 2022 Beijing Olympics has been denied, the Court of Arbitration for Sport announced on Thursday. The appeal sought to overturn the decision, stripping Russia of their gold medal, which had been secured largely due to the performance of Kamila Valieva, who was 15 at the time. Valieva, now serving a 4-year ban for doping, was the first woman to land a quadruple jump in Olympic competition. However, a positive test for trimetazidine, banned substance, led to her points being invalidated and Russia being demoted to bronze. CAS confirmed that the disqualification of Valieva's results was correct and upheld that Russia's Olympic Committee could not be awarded the gold medal. The ROC expressed deep disappointment but acknowledged the anticipated outcome of the case. The final medal standings remain unresolved as CAS is also reviewing an appeal from Canada, who finished 4th. Canada is seeking to secure the final medal, which would adjust the podium positions to place the USA first and Japan second. And that's your BRICS Plus Sports Roundup for this week.
coming soon on BRICS Global Television.
I remember being in the stadium, going into the stadium, and there were kids outside asking for our autograph and things like that. And they really believed that we were these superhuman characters, that we just used the wheelchair to get around, hidden superpowers kind of thing. And the stadium in London was sold out every single day. I mean, for that, it I think was both for the athlete and for people around the world said, this is actually something worth watching. This is something, that's worthwhile. We can take note of it.
And finally, the torrential rains that devastated southern Brazil in May this year washed away homes and cars, damaged infrastructure, displaced over 500,000 people and claimed the lives of at least 169 people. But as the floodwaters receded, revealing the true devastation of the weeks of heavy rains and landslides, something quite extraordinary was discovered. A remarkably well-preserved dinosaur fossil dating back around 200 million years. Despite the heavy rain's destructive effects on fossil material, they accelerated erosion, revealing the fossil earlier than expected, a rare benefit amid the natural calamity. It was found near São João Polizini, approximately 280 kilometers west of Porto Alegre. The fossil was excavated over 4 days by paleontologists from the Federal University of Santa Maria. It belongs to the Herrerasauridae family, dating back to the Triassic period. It's around 200 million years ago. One of the leading researchers says it could be the second most complete Herrerasauridae specimen found. The fossil, akin to the one in 2014 that led to the discovery of the Neithovorax cabrii, will undergo extensive analysis before its species classification is confirmed. That's our weekly roundup. We'll be back again next week with more. In the meantime, for daily updates, check out our website or social media.